Funding for Election 2012 coverage is provided in part by AARP, a nonprofit, nonpartisan association, 87,000 strong in North Dakota, dedicated to enhancing quality of life for all as we age. And by the members of Prairie Public.
Welcome to Prairie Public's continuing coverage of Election 2012. I'm Matt O'Lean. Welcome. This is the debate for Minnesota's 7th District congressional seat. My guests today are Representative Collin Peterson. He is the Democratic incumbent from Minnesota's 7th District, and the Republican nominee, Lee Byberg. Welcome to both of you. Thanks both for being here. Both candidates will have a 1-minute opening and 1-minute closing statement. In between, there'll be questions and topics chosen by myself and our co-sponsor, AARP of North Dakota. Let's get started. Based on a coin flip, Representative Peterson, you go first on your 1-minute opening statement.
Well, thank you, Matt, and thank Prairie Public and AARP for sponsoring this debate. I'm Collin Peterson. I've had the privilege of serving this district for many years now. I serve on the Agriculture Committee. That's been my main committee and now my only committee. I was the chairman when we wrote the last farm bill, and now we're in the process of trying to get this farm bill done. You know, we put together a bipartisan bill. The Senate passed it bipartisan. The House committee passed it bipartisan. But you know, we got caught up in the discord that goes on the floor of the House of Representatives, and we were not able to get the bill to come up for a vote before it expired on September 30th. So now we're going to have to go back on November 13th, try to get this done in lame duck. But it's kind of epitomizes what's going on in Washington right now. It just seems like people can't work together. You know, the Farm Bill, bipartisan, it's the only committee that's still operating bipartisan, the Ag Committee. But even with that, we couldn't get it.
Congressman.
We couldn't get it done.
We will get to the Farm Bill, I promise you. Lee Byberg, 1-minute opening.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you all here today. America is a fantastic country. I was born in America, but I also grew up overseas in Norway, amongst other countries, and that's where I picked up in the Minnesota accent. I'm married and I have 3 boys from 18 to 22. We raised 3 sons in Willmar, Minnesota. I'm a business leader. I run small companies with 25 employees in the bioscience area, and also 250 employees in the ag area, Willmar Poultry Company. We are in a time in our history when a lot of is at stake. We have a great nation, great people, good companies, but our government is broken. We have created a massive national debt, and it's time for leaders to stand up from free enterprise to help to set this straight. I'm standing up as a business leader, hoping to connect with many others that, like me, will join Congress moving forward to set our government straight so we can create the jobs we need for the next generation. America is too great, too good to not save it. Thank you.
Okay, our first issue, as both of you know, and you both just mentioned, there is gridlock in Washington. President Obama and the House Republicans have been seemingly after each other for 4 years on issues like the deficit, taxes. Congress's rating is at an all-time low. If elected, for each of you, knowing full well you'll be asked many times to toe the party line, how will each of you act as an independent voice for the 7th District on issues like the deficit and taxes? Lee Byberg, you get us started.
Well, I will work with others, but I will always ask the question on every policy, every bill, will it increase freedom or will it reduce freedom? Is it constitutional or is it not? Will it do our country, improve our country, or will it not? So I think we are at a point in our history where Democrats and Republicans, they need to come together along the principles that made our country the greatest country ever seen. I'm talking about free enterprise, opportunities, and a small federal government that allows us to be free at home. So those are the principles that belong to all Americans, both parties. But for 50 years, we have neglected those principles, and today we are facing trouble because of that. I think our Constitution will guide us as we come together as people if we dare to think that the Constitution is still valid. I believe it is.
Okay, response, Collin Peterson?
Well, I'll do what I've been doing. 85% of the Congress right now votes party line 98 or 99% of the time. My percentage this last session was 57%. That's what I've kind of been the whole time I've been there. What I do is I look at things and see if they make sense for my district, for the state, for the country. You know, and you know, you don't get your way with everything. I mean, you fight for what you believe in, you fight for your district. But whether it's your church, your family, your business, you don't get your way with everything. And that's the way it is in Congress as well. The Farm Bill, I didn't get everything I wanted. Frank Lucas didn't get everything he wanted. But we were able to find the best and the most important things that we thought needed to be in that bill, and we came together. And that's what I've done. That's what I'll continue to do. And that's what needs to be done to make this thing work and move this country forward.
Okay, response, Lee Byberg?
Well, I don't think it's enough to just vote 50% of the time. I think we need to vote right on the major issues. On the bigger issues, like cap and trade, Collin Peterson voted in favor of it. On Obama healthcare, he voted no the first time. Twice since he has voted to uphold it. Those are the two critical issues that will define the future of our nation. And those issues talks about either a central big government or free enterprise local solutions. So these are topics that go across party lines. They go back to what do we believe in, Collin? A big federal government that's going to tell people how to live, whether it's cap and trade, Obama healthcare, or do we think the American concept of free enterprise and local solutions will bring better solutions?
Okay, final word, Collin Peterson,
Well,
then we'll move to Farm Bill.
I mean, that's exactly why we're in a problem. I voted against the Obama health care bill because I didn't think a lot of it was right. But then it became a political issue to repeal it. Now, 40% of that bill is good, and it needs to be done. You know, having people have their kids on their health care plan, pre-existing conditions, these exchanges, which are already being set up around the country, and we've spent a lot of money doing that. These hospitals and clinics and insurance companies have done a lot to already comply with the good parts of the bill. So why are we going to repeal it? Why did they vote 33 times to repeal the health care bill? It's never going to happen. So let's work with people like me that want to fix the 60% of this bill that's a problem. But that doesn't happen because we're going to have political solutions. We're going to have all or nothing, you know, and that's why we're so screwed up, you know, bottom line.
We will return to the Affordable Care Act, I promise you, but let's get to Farm Bill, and Collin Peterson, you'll start this time. Lee, you'll have the last word on Farm Bill. Why is there no Farm Bill right now, and what are the prospects, if each of you are elected, of getting a Farm Bill? Collin Peterson, you start.
I think the reason there's not a Farm Bill is because of Eric Cantor. He's the majority leader. He schedules the floor time, and he was listening to some of the extremes in his party that didn't want to bring this bill up. You got the Club for Growth, the Grover Norquist, the Heritage Foundation, the Wall Street Journal that are opposed to this bill. And we're going to score this bill. So they didn't really want to vote on it, so they didn't bring it up. It was a bipartisan bill. Then they claimed we didn't have the votes. Well, I got upset the Wednesday before we left, and I got 25 members together, half Republicans, half Democrats. We whipped the bill. We found out we had 100 Democrats and 140 Republicans that would vote for the bill as it came out of committee. We had 240 votes. We only needed 218. They just wouldn't let us bring it on the floor. So now we're going to have to go into lame duck when we go back on the 13th and try to get this thing done by the end of the year. And, you know, I'm somewhat optimistic because we got some things that are, you know, going to trigger if we don't get this done. But mainly because I talked to John Boehner, the Speaker, who was a friend of mine over the summer. He always wanted to do it in lame duck. So having the Speaker be with us, I think, will help. And having the fact that the dairy program expires December 31st, and if we don't fix this, milk goes to $39 a gallon, or a hundredweight, I think that's going to get us the pressure to get this thing done.
Okay. Need to get a response from Lee Byberg. Go ahead.
The Farm Bill is moving the right direction. I'm happy to see that. The reason it didn't pass this time is because as a nation, we are in deep trouble. We are borrowing 40% of what the government is spending. And in a time like that, there's many conservative people that are concerned, how can we continue to spend and expand the nutritional program, the food stamp portion in the Ag Bill, almost tripling. So that's the reason for many good Americans in Congress. They were concerned about it. So this isn't just about blaming game, naming people that were difficult and so. Both parties have created this massive government over many years. The people, they understand we are right at a tipping point. It is time we bring real solutions that can balance. We don't even have a budget. For 3 years in Congress today, we have not had a budget. We are flying blind. It's not good enough. People looking for real solutions, people that will stand up and not continue what we are doing today.
Okay, response, Colin Peterson.
Well, it is a real solution. The bill that we passed out of the House committee cut $37 billion out of the baseline. If the rest of the government cut the same percentage as we did, would be over $3 trillion would be reduced off the deficit. We did more than our share in the Farm Bill. That was not the problem. And the food stamps were not caused by anything that the Ag Committee did. Those rules have been there, and we haven't changed them in the Ag Committee. Now, there was some addition that Obama put in there from the stimulus, which I didn't support, that did increase them temporarily, but we didn't do anything in the Ag Committee, so we made cuts. The problem is the other 12 committees are gridlocked. They can't work, they don't even talk to each other. When we had this Budget Control Act and the Super Committee, no other committee produced a thing except the Ag Committee. Again, if everybody did what we did, over $3 trillion, but no, it's not, both sides, it's either my way or the highway. One side wants this much, the other side doesn't want anything, and nothing happens. At least in the Ag Committee, we're able to work together and make this thing come to where we need to.
Okay, final word on this, Lee
You're
Lyberg.
talking to my point. America is rating Congress at a low point ever. You know, it's because they see we have created a government that cannot be paid for. Everything goes together. If you want to have a solution, you need to have a solution that brings a budget so we can vote for and prioritize choices and grow the economy. We can't just look at it, one little piece, one little piece there. It has to come together. Today, the deficit is so large, it's going to destroy the next generation. Americans are looking for real leadership to take on all these challenges. And that's why I'm running, because I see leaders in Congress today playing games year after year, and then they blame each other. It's not good enough, Colin.
Okay, our next question comes from our debate co-sponsor, AARP. What proposals regarding Medicare and Social Security being discussed currently are of most concern to you? And if elected, are there any you would favor or support? Lee Byberg, you start this time.
Well, first, I will repeal the entire healthcare bill, Obama healthcare. We are talking about taking the best system in the world and using a sledgehammer to destroy it, to change it into a program that eventually will become universal healthcare system. Americans don't want that. The whole process started at the House with Nancy Pelosi. It was basically forced through, and when you force something through, you don't end up with a nation that's united along something. We need to start over with Obama healthcare and then engage in a discussion with doctors, nurses, experts, people, insurance people, and look at how can we fix what needs to be fixed without destroying the very fundamental concept of local solution of free enterprise, without involving government even more. Government will turn this into another disaster. It is time that we have real leaders that believe that free enterprise can increase competition, reduce cost, allow people to buy insurance across state lines, be able to get closer to the doctors again, so the people that needs the help, they have a closer connections with the provider versus big government stepping in.
Need to get a response from Colin Peterson.
Well, the Medicare program is a government-run program, you know, and a lot of people seem to forget that. Is it perfect? No. But it's worked fairly well, and the people that are on it like it. Now, there's concern by people, you know, moving to the so-called voucher system, you know, that's been talked about. I happen to think that premium support is not necessarily a bad idea as long as it's a choice, which we have now. You know, you can choose Medicare Advantage, which is premium support. Some people like it. But the problem is that, you know, it's not sustainable the way the costs are going up. And we've got to figure out a way to get the costs under control. And that was part of what they were trying to do with Obamacare, but in my opinion, they failed in what they did. There was no cost control. They didn't fix the medical disparities between us and, say, Florida. So we're still getting $7,000 Medicare patient reimbursement. They get $16,500 in Florida. That's one of the big problems I had with the Obamacare bill, was that it didn't fix the medical disparities. It also, really penalized our rural hospitals. And back in '03, I was the one that negotiated the critical care access provision that has allowed our small hospital to stay in business. It undermined that. So I have concerns about what we're doing here.
Okay. I need to get Lee Byberg for a response, then you'll get the last word on this healthcare issue.
I agree with Colin. It's a real disaster, the policy that passed. That's why we need to, we need to repeal it. Recently, University of Virginia came out with a new study where they looked at Medicaid, and they looked at this new policy, Obamacare, will hit those that are struggling the most even worse. Because what the bill doesn't consider is that as you increase people, force people through the system, without addressing how to increase the supply of doctors and nurses, it's going to take programs that today is not very good, and it's going to make it worse because you're bringing in another 16 million people through it. So everyone today on Medicaid will find a reduction in equality because we have not looked at what happens when you don't increase the supply of medical services. So that's why it is really important that we elect leaders that are clear-minded on this. When something goes wrong, let's not force it. Let's go back and repeal it and start over again and look for real solutions that everyone can agree on or most people can agree on. That's where I stand on this issue.
Okay, final word on healthcare, Colin Peterson.
We don't need to start over again because 40% of this bill is good. And it's going to be in there if we repeal it and start over, which will just cost us hundreds of millions of dollars to do. Even Governor Romney in the last debate said, there's a lot of this bill that needs to be kept. So why are we fixated on repealing it? Why did they do it 33 times? They knew the Senate wasn't going to take it up. It just, it's wasting money. So what needs to be done, these 16 million people they don't have any health care right now. So what's happening? We're all paying for them. We're paying $1,500 if you're in a private pay system on top of what you're paying is paying for the people that don't have health care, that show up at the emergency room. Somehow or another we have to deal with that. Do I like the way they did it in the health care bill? No. But the reality is we've got to deal with it. We've got to deal with pre-existing conditions, and let's get on with it. Let's not have a fight about all or nothing. The only way we can do this is repeal everything and start over again. Let's take what works and then let's work on the rest of it. That's what needs to be done.
Okay, let's move on. Let's talk taxes for a minute or two. Competing tax plans have taken center stage in this presidential campaign. How do each of you feel about the current tax rates, the current tax system, about where tax rates should be for wealthy Americans and middle class, and also talk about ways to cut the national debt in relation to taxes as well. And Colin Peterson, you start this time.
Well, the tax system is kind of a mess, too. And I'm a CPA, so I used to do taxes for a living. And we have got too many deductions and loopholes in the tax code, and those need to be addressed. And I think both parties have come to that conclusion. I've heard Governor Romney say, we need to look at that. So that's where we need to start, working on all these 250 special tax breaks that we put in the tax code the last, I don't know how many years. In the corporate tax area, we're the highest corporate tax in the world, although we're not paying that much because they got all those loopholes. But we need to get that rate down on corporations to the average which in the world, which is 25% as opposed to 35%. So, we need to try to get a more simple tax code that's more broad-based, that has less special interest deductions in it. But, I have not a lot of confidence that we're going to be able to do this. I've supported the fair tax, which gets rid of the payroll tax, gets rid of the income tax, goes to a national sales tax. I think that would be a fairer system, less complicated system, less black market stuff going on. So maybe we ought to seriously look at that.
Okay, I need to get a response from Lee Byberg. Go ahead.
Well, not only is the tax system broken, but Congress is broken. Our government is broken. It's spending $1 trillion more a year than the revenue is. We cannot balance this budget through tax increases. People are overworked. Businesses overworked. All they ask when I'm traveling our district is, Lee, help us to get this big government off our backs. And we have leaders who've been in Congress for a long, long time, 22 years in Peterson's example. That's a long time. And people are looking for who will start to talk about the concept that we need to rein in this large government that's not only costly, is depriving the local communities and enterprise the opportunity to grow and produce more and create more jobs. This is time where we admit that for 50 years we've been growing this government that cannot be paid for. It's time we begin to reduce waste and take some of these agencies and eliminate them. They're not constitutional. EPA, I think Collin Peterson will agree with me, we should cut it 50% at least. There's other agencies like that that we cannot justify anymore, and we need to start that process.
Can you get a response, Collin Peterson?
Yeah, well, I mean, the problem is, one of the big problems we have right now, because of the recession, primarily, we're at the lowest level of revenue that we're raising in this country since World War II. And if you didn't have Medicare and Medicaid, which we didn't have in World War II, you could maybe live on 15-point-some% of GDP revenue. But when Reagan was there, 19% is what they've decided was kind of the right number. So, it's not a good time to be raising taxes, and I'm not for raising taxes in the middle of a recession. But we've got to get in there and figure out a way over the long term where we can get the revenue back to where it used to be at 19% and get the spending down to where it used to be around 19%. I was there in the 90s when we balanced the budget, and we were able to do that, to get our revenues and expenditures together, and that's what we need to do. But if you get this all or nothing, you're not going to get anything done.
Final response from Lee Byberg, and then one more quick issue. Go ahead.
Well, in 22 years that you've been at Collin, the national debt has grown twice as fast as the gross domestic product. Many leaders like you have been there a long time. It's not good enough. Another issue that's going to face us is we have trillions of dollars in debt that's going to mature in a very short time. And we borrow that money at a historical low point. 2% interest is the average interest. When this debt matures within the next 1-2 years, if the nations or the investors that are buying this debt from us, if they don't see us having a credible plan to grow the economy and balance the budget, this rate will go up to normal historical rates, 4 or 5%. When that happens, our borrowing cost goes from $400 billion a year to $1 trillion. This is why this is so serious that I'm stepping up as a business leader saying, time out. We cannot continue to do this dance that we've been doing for all these years and voting for the same leaders time after time. You will get tomorrow what you gotten from before.
I have time for one quick issue. This can be a very quick answer. Minnesotans will vote November 6th on the Minnesota Marriage Amendment, which a yes vote defines marriage as a marriage between one man and one woman. Very quick answer. Lee Byberg, your thoughts on this amendment?
Well, I support traditional marriage because I think that's best for America's families and growing children. And I think the short time we had here today, it doesn't really allow us to go into the depth of that, but I will support traditional marriage.
Okay, Collin Peterson?
I support traditional marriage. I think my district does as well.
Okay, very good. It's time for closing statements. Lee Byberg, 1 minute, you go first.
Now, this is a critical time in our history, but America is a fantastic country. I think we have it in us to begin the process of rebuilding our nation from the bottom up, county by county, district by district, state by state. The federal government will never do this. It doesn't have in its nature or ability the concept of how to grow the economy. That needs to start locally with local leaders. I work with many leaders throughout our district, looking at how can we learn from each other to create jobs. So I'm a practical person. My history is creating jobs. And what I also would like to do, I would like to ask Collin for a different meeting in Detroit Lakes, your hometown. Let's have an open-ended meeting to discuss all these issues that are so important for our voters. One meeting, I think that will be fair for our people in our district.
Okay, 1 minute closing statement, Collin Peterson.
Thanks again to Prairie Public and AARP for sponsoring this. And again, thanks to the voters for the great privilege of being able to represent you in Washington. I've had the tremendous opportunities, especially on the Agriculture Committee, to be able to work not only with all the ag folks in America, but around the world. And I think we're the example of what needs to happen in Congress, where we're still able to work together. We're not the ones that are getting into partisan food fights. We're not the ones that are causing gridlock. We came together with a bipartisan bill, cut $37 billion out of the deficit. If everybody had done what we did, $3 trillion off the deficit. So I say the Congress needs to be more like the Ag Committee, and I appreciate your support.
Thanks to both of you. And the 7th District is a big district, so vote November 6th. I want to thank Collin Peterson and Lee Byberg for being here. Good luck to both of you. And thank you for watching Prairie Public's continuing coverage of Election 2012. So long.
Funding for Election 2012 coverage is provided in part by AARP, a nonprofit, nonpartisan association, 87,000 strong in North Dakota, dedicated to enhancing quality of life for all as we age, and by the members of Prairie Public.